In this video, I'm going to give you tips on how to prep your winter garden and how to prepare for insects and treat your summer garden. So here we go. Good morning, people. Pawpaw Sammy here. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about just gardening in general. Uh, Got up this morning, had my coffee, breakfast, stepped outside. It's 70 degrees. 5 days ago it was 5 degrees. Well, anyway, general gardening. In the springtime, the biggest mistake new gardeners make is they'll run down, to the hardware, the nursery, and they'll buy up a bunch of plants, fertilized, pot and soil, and they run home and they go to work. And they really go to work. They digging and chopping and cleaning and carrying on. Then they plant. Well, after a while, nature takes over. The grass starts growing. Insects start coming in. Well, then they're out there pulling grass, hoeing and trying to keep it going. One thing or another, they finally lose interest. After a while, they look if they get a tomato out of the crowd. But that can be solved. If you prep that garden right and use the right household stuff, ingredients, you can stop a lot of your insects and stop a whole lot of work. No digging, no pulling grass, and it'll be a lot easier for you to work. Back when I was a kid, they had what they call victory gardens back during World War II. Most everything was rationed. Your gas, your butter, you name it, it was rationed. So people would have their own little garden. Now, I mean, if you had your own cattle and all, you made your own butter with no problem. But everything was rationed. But nowadays they call it kitchen garden, a supplement to your fresh vegetables. But anyway, the main thing you need to do is plant to your zone. If you don't, okay, if you use plants that is native to your area, that's fruit trees or anything, it usually has a better chance to survive. Well, that's common sense, but it really works. Now, in January, you need to harvest your winter crops, your cabbage, your winter radishes, whatever. Prune your trees, prune your blueberries, your apples, your pears, etc. Now, a good thing to do is start your seeds indoors. You can have your beans, peas, tomatoes, basically most anything once you start it indoors. When the temperature drops low enough where you can plant it, then you can harden it off a little bit and put it in your garden. But people, the main thing is, you take like me. When I show people how I prep my garden, I put down the cardboard. I pile leaves on top of it, pine straw. I've had people chop on me like crazy. I don't put leaves in my garden. It takes them too long to break down. They're thinking now. They're not thinking tomorrow. What the leaves you put in that garden today, all that's going to do is kind of warm your ground up and hold the moisture. It's not going to help the plant's nutrition. It's not going to do it. Next year, they'll start to break down. Then they help a little bit. 3 to 4 years, year number one leaves is just the prettiest black soil you ever seen. Year 5, year number 2 leaves is the prettiest soil you ever seen. Now you're feeding your plants. Now you're improving your soil. It don't go overnight. You can turn hard clay into beautiful black soil in 4 or 5 years if you handle it right with the compost. Now, like I said, I've had them tell me I don't use pine straw. It's too much acidity. It's been proven, babe. When pine soil breaks down, it's neutral. It is not acidity. It's neutral. And when it does finally break down, it makes some beautiful black soil. I mean, now I have people say, well, where I live, I don't have any trees. I don't know about Chicago or New York. I'm talking about like Baton Rouge or New Orleans even. They're good sized towns. You can get in your car in either one of those towns and ride around the subdivisions on the outskirts, and you'll find people raking leaves, putting them in black bags and throwing them out to go to the landfill, and they'll be more than happy to give it to you. One of my subscribers, Pawpaw, I took your advice. I've got a yard full of leaves now. She's got a gold mine. Didn't cost her a penny. Anyway, gardening can be fun if you do it right. Uh, if you go back to my playlist, I've got videos on almost maintenance-free garden. Been doing it for years, I have. All right. Also, I have videos, and if I'm thinking back, the name of the title was My Garden's Medicine Chest. I've got ammonia in it. I've got iodine. I've got peroxide. I have garlic. I have powdered onions. I have red peppers. All that. I listed out the ingredients. Epsom salt. How and why I use it on my plants. Point in question. 3 or 4 years ago, the squash borers had got bad. You couldn't hardly raise squash. Well, I tried all the little fancy tricks about, digging them out, cutting the stem and taping the stem up, all the crazy little tricks. None of them really worked. And one day I got a little upset. I was eating gumbo, I swear, throwing Tabasco sauce. And it dawned on me, that's hot. I wonder how them squash boys would like it. I took a syringe, pulled out some Tabasco sauce, went out there and shot it up in the stem of that squash. I got a video back in on my playlist. You ought to seen the squash borers come crawling out of that stem. They come out of there like it's hot. So now I incorporate Tabasco peppers, any kind of hot pepper. I'll boil it, boil it down, get it good and thick and good and hot. Spray your plants. You'd be surprised what won't go near that plant when you spray it with that hot sauce. The little bugs that like to nibble on the leaves, they quit nibbling. You don't have to spray the blossom. The bees can still come in. Spray the plant. Spray on the ground around it. You'd be totally surprised. Like and subscribe. Pawpaw Sammy.